the body. That is Kayanupassana, becoming aware of the body. Then we become aware of how the body feels. Are we feeling comfortable or are we feeling uncomfortable? That is what is called Vedananupassana, becoming aware of how you feel, the sensation. Then you become aware of the emotion that has arisen or that has been aroused. Whether it is anger or whether it is some lustful desire or whether it is a fear or whether it is a worry, whatever the emotion, we become aware of it. That is Chittanupassana. Then we become aware of the thought. We have interpreted our circumstance in a certain way. And it is because we interpreted the circumstance in a certain way that the emotion was aroused. So the moment we become aware of the interpretation, we begin to see that the emotion was aroused because I began to interpret things in this way. The moment you become aware of that, the interpretation changes. You begin to see that it is only an interpretation. The interpretation may be wrong. So, what has happened is, because I interpreted it in this way, the emotion was aroused. Because the emotion was aroused, I began to feel uncomfortable. And because I began to feel uncomfortable, my body also started changing. My heart began to beat faster, my breathing changed, and my whole body became tense. So you begin to become aware of the reaction. And by becoming aware of the reaction, you become conscious of the reaction. And when you become conscious of the reaction stops. Because the reaction cannot continue consciously. It can go on only unconsciously. So the moment you become conscious, it stops. And this is really what Sigmund Freud, who started the thing called psychoanalysis, he saw this partly, and his method of psychoanalysis was to make the unconscious conscious. But he thought the unconscious was a different kind of mind and conscious was another kind of mind. But that is not what it is. It is the emotions that come up unconsciously. And the thinking part of the mind is the conscious part. When we think, we are conscious of the thinking. But when we are emotionally excited, it happens unconsciously. So this is the way the Buddha found the way to solve the problem by getting rid of the emotions and calming the mind, to make the mind tranquil, undisturbed by whatever happens in the world. To be able to live in the world without being disturbed by the world. This is why the Buddha said, just as the lotus, the flower that is born in the water, grown up in the water, rises above the water and remains unsoiled by the water. In the same way, I was born in this world, grown up in the world, but I rose above the world and remained unsoiled by the world. That is the meaning of the lotus, the importance of the lotus in Buddhism. So I hope you understood. Those who came late, of course, we are very sorry to. But you can ask questions. Huh? And we can talk about it.
I think just how you mentioned about relax the body and calm the mind. And also, human beings, we tend to, sometimes we see things happen, but we just dumbfounded to know what to do.
That is because these things are happening unconsciously. So the first thing is to become conscious of what is going on unconsciously. So when we begin to relax, we really become conscious of what is going on unconsciously. That's the important thing. That is the meaning of Satipatthana.
Bhante, how was the mind of the person have stream enter? How does the mind meet? Does the stream enter mind? A person who has attained Sotapanna, he's most of the time his mind is very aware of the unaware of the emotion. Am I right to say that? Or he still can make error?
No, not really.
Not really. He still can make mistakes.
No, the Sotapanna is a person who has got rid of three things.
Yes.
Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikiccha and Silabbata Paramasa. What does that mean? Sakkaya Ditthi means to give up the idea of it's like giving up the personality perspective. That means you are thinking in terms of I and you. We have to first understand that there is no person here. Now to become aware of what we call the Four Noble Truths is to give up the personality perspective. Because the Four Noble Truths is talking about four things. Suffering, the cause of it, the ending of suffering, and the way leading to the end of suffering. Now when we talk about suffering, we always think of a person suffering. You understand? But we have to understand that there is no person suffering.